As you can tell, a beautiful day in Greensboro, and just when you thought it couldn't get any better, the return of the Let's Go G Sports Show, this time featuring our spring sports at the G with today, the UNCG Baseball Spartans. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Go G Sports Show presented by the UNCG Alumni Association. I am your host, Luke Martin. Good news, Coach Miller finally gets a break from it. You don't have to see Coach Miller. Coach Miller can now go back to work in the offseason for basketball, so he gets to breathe. But that means head coach Link Jarrett will now have the duty to talk to me, and Coach Jarrett will be on later in the show. But speaking of the UNCG Baseball Spartans, what a start to this season. In case you haven't been paying attention, which if you haven't been paying attention, how dare you? But we welcome you aboard the train here to talk about this UNCG baseball season. They've already won 23 games, which, why is that important? That's as many wins as they had a year ago. And currently the Spartans are on a 8-game win streak, which is the longest on the season, but it's also the most for the program since 2011. LJ Kalawaya, after missing all of the 2015 season, has returned to the lineup with a vengeance, hitting .387 with 16 multi-hit games, including swiping 15 bags after having 10 stolen bases, all in 2014. The Spartans lead the nation in batting average, hitting .358 as a team, with 9 Spartans hitting above the 300 mark this season. Freshman Andrew Wantz leads the way with a .409 hitting clip. It hasn't just been the hitting either. The Spartans have been wheeling and dealing on the mound. The Spartans starting rotation is a combined 10-2 this season, including some dynamic arms coming out of the bullpen, led by Andrew Wantz with a perfect 5-0 record, a 1.73 ERA, which leads the Southern Conference, and why he was named today the Southern Conference Pitcher of the Week. And speaking of the devil, who I was just talking about, Andrew Wantz now joins me here on the Let's Go G Sports Show. And I better be careful because I have a feeling talking to Andrew Wantz that I may strike out against him here on set. But I think I may be okay and survive. Andrew, it's great to have you on the show. How you feeling? I mentioned the great week you've had. You've already equaled your win total from a year ago. So how's Andrew Wantz feeling at this time?
Well, I'm a little sore, but I feel great. A lot of confidence in the team. And myself, I have a lot of confidence just going out there, and I feel great.
You mentioned that confidence and feeling great. I'm sure one of the many reasons is you've already equaled your win total from a year ago, as I just mentioned, 23 wins this year. You were on last year's team. What do you think has been the difference from the success this year compared to maybe the lack of success last year?
We all just, with the new freshmen, we all just kind of clicked, and we've really been supportive of each other. Last year wasn't as supportive, but this year we know when a pitcher goes out, another pitcher is right in the dugout, supporting him, and vice versa. But we just bought into the program. We, listen to what the coaches say and trust them, and it's been playing out for us.
One of the roles last year for you was a starting role. This year you're coming out of the bullpen. What's the mindset for you? Do you enjoy coming out of the bullpen more this year, which we've seen a lot of your success, compared to the starting role? Is it a role that you've enjoyed more coming out of the bullpen this year than compared to last year?
I do enjoy it. I would say I enjoy it more, just because, like the situation yesterday, bases loaded, nobody out. It really gets you going, and to get out of it, and I know I'm helping the team out, and yeah, I'm enjoying it, and doing well makes me enjoy it a lot better. So, yeah, I like starting, but we had the talk before the season. Coach said, you're going to be in the bullpen, and I said, it doesn't bother me as long as I can help the team out some way.
You've also had a counterpart in your bullpen in Chad Sykes, who's also been performing at such a high level. Where's the confidence specifically with this bullpen? You've been able to see the starters go out and produce, but you guys have been a big part on the back end. Where's your confidence at as a collective group?
We trust each other. When the starter goes out and he has to pass the baton, which Coach Edwards likes to use, we trust each other. Like if I'm coming after Hunter believes in me that I'm gonna get out of the situation. And I think a lot of this success is from our coach Edwards. I mean, he calls pitches. We just, does what he asks. And for Cush he grinds back there every day, catches every game. So we trust each other coming out of the bullpen, and it's working out.
Last year, you guys started off the Southern Conference season winning your first 2 series. You've already started this year off sweeping the first series. But how do you hopefully knock off the Citadel and take at least 2 out of 3, but more importantly, maintain the positive momentum throughout the year, not just the beginning part of it?
I mean, as you can see every game, I think if our offense keeps rolling like it is, then pitchers, it makes it so easy on the pitchers to go out there and just throw strikes, knowing that, we have 13 runs or 10 runs. So I think if our offense stays where it is and the pitching can just keep rolling, it'll be good.
Now you get to go on the road. I know you enjoy playing on the ballpark off to our right, but are you kind of excited now to be able to go on the road? You play at Duke on Tuesday, and then you go to Charleston, South Carolina to get against the Citadel. You excited to finally get some traveling in?
I am. We have fun, on the bus. We just bond, play games. In the hotel, it's just a good time. I'm excited to travel.
I think every Spartan fan is also excited to see this guy continue to pitch this year. Andrew, congratulations on the great start, and keep it rolling this year. I made it through without getting struck out. I think that's pretty good. I don't think we should actually see that in person. That would not work out on my favor. But that was the pitcher, Andrew Wantz. We still have more coming up on the Let's Go G Sports Show, including the head coach, Link Jarrett. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Greensboro and Winston-Salem, it would be Jason Bramblett. He attracts hundreds of buyers and creates so much demand that Jason can guarantee if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, he will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Welcome back to the Let's Go G Sports Show presented by the UNCG Alumni Association. I promised you he would be here, and he is here, the head coach of the UNCG Baseball Spartans, Link Jarrett. Coach, it's great to have you here on the show, and you're always smiling, but it seems like that smile is a little bit bigger after the weekend you and your team had.
It's easy to smile after that weekend, yeah. Good series. The guys played well. They're playing with confidence, and when you pitch it and catch it and string together quality at-bats, good things happen, and the guys enjoy competing and playing and working at it. And when you have that kind of atmosphere every day in your locker room, on the field, and when you compete, good things happen. And I'm very proud of where we are and how hard these guys have worked and the way they compete.
Heading into this year, many people didn't know maybe what to expect because they didn't know about a Ben Spitznagel, a Michael Goss, or a Dylan Stewart, guys who weren't necessarily on the roster last year. But you knew about them because they were here in the fall and working hard and going through those fall camps. Did you think in the fall that this team is where they're at, where they're supposed to be at this year with some of the new guys coming in and filling into the fold?
I really did. I look at our team and I look at the outfield, and I feel like we have 3 guys easily that could play center field, and you start there. I look at our infield, and we have guys that play extremely hard. Woody and Tripp and Caesar and Spitznagel and Fitch and Goss and Stewart, and that group plays hard, and they're going to give you an honest effort every time. And Cush behind the plate, he grinds it out every day, and he understands what we're trying to do with our pitching, and he can throw. And when you just look at that, it's a pretty good setup. And when you recruit and you try to plan out your roster, you hope to have things in place. And it takes a little time, but through the recruiting and the development of the players, you hope that you put yourself in this position. On the mound, we feel like our starting pitching is very solid, and with Wantz and Sykes, who really started last year out of necessity, to move those guys to the pen with some experience and being able to bounce them back a little bit, and Woody, who's able to bounce back, and Lewis, who's left-handed out of the pen, and there's other guys on our staff, and Keaton with his experience. you have a good feeling, and there's pretty good balance. And we don't have a great margin of error, but when we execute and hopefully we can stay healthy, it gives us a pretty consistent chance to go out there and win.
I mentioned at the start of the show, 23 wins already. That's as many wins as you had all of last year.
Yeah.
How do you, as you go through this season, one, celebrate the successes that you've been able to have already? And because you don't want to say, hey, that doesn't mean anything. It does. But also know, keep your eyes on the prize and know there's much more to accomplish this season. And in balancing, celebrating what you've been able to accomplish, but also understanding there's more to accomplish.
Yeah, no doubt. You want the guys to play with confidence, and that's very important. You don't want anybody to become complacent and think that you walk out there and that it's easy to do what we've done. It's not. It's challenging every game. From the first one we played this year to the last one, they're all competitive, and each one of those games has a different personality, and we try to enforce with our guys that you got to figure out what's going on within that game and find a way to manipulate what you're doing to give you the best chance to win. And that goes on the mound and trying to identify what their offense is doing defensively, taking all the factors into consideration when you're trying to defend. And offensively, you got to just try to figure out the best approach to get to the guy on the mound. And if you get to the starting pitcher and he's out of there, then you got to figure out what's going on in the bullpen. And I think when you focus on those things, and we really haven't changed anything we've done since I've been here, but when you focus on that, I think the big picture stuff takes care of itself. Win, lose, or draw, you have to try to compete and play at a high level every pitch, every inning, every day. And then when the dust settles, if you do it right, you'll be pretty pleased with the results. And that's what's happened so far. It really has.
The field just off to our right, you're 18-1 on that field this year, but now looking ahead a little bit, 9 of your next 10 games are going to be on the road. So what's the key that you're kind of talking about with your team when you're going through this week? I know you really just focus on yourselves and focus on what you can do, but now to take it on the road and take that next step. You've been great on this field, but now how can you kind of carry that over and go on the road?
Well, you hope to reflect on going over to High Point and going to Coastal and playing those 4 games and going to Wilmington and going to NC State. And you just have to understand you got to execute, and the environment, the fans, none of that stuff affects you. And we do some things, in preparation when we go on the road just to make sure during our batting practice segment that we understand the field and the conditions when you're on the road. And then once that first pitch is thrown, then you got to play the game and execute just like you do at home. And it is a tough stretch. And, you go play Duke on the road, who just beat Georgia Tech. I believe they won 2 out of 3. Then you go to the Citadel, where it's a different park, and they're a very good baseball team. Then you have Wake back-to-back, who's played really well. So there's no doubt it's a very tough stretch on our schedule. But I think everything that we've done to this point has prepared us. I don't think there's going to be anything that we see in the next stretch of games that we haven't seen in how we've laid out our schedule to this point. So I think the guys are ready. Hopefully our starting pitching gets us deep so we don't stretch that bullpen too thin too often. That would be a key to it. And offensively, just got to keep grinding it out and trying to figure out ways to score. And if the running game presents itself, we try to take advantage of that. And the power has helped us at times. When we run a ball out of the park and you can score big numbers in bunches, obviously that helps too. So we're excited about this stretch, and we know it's going to be challenging, but we'll go see what we can do.
I know Spartan fans are excited as well, even though they'll be on the road. They've enjoyed to see you go 18-1 on this field just off to our right. But, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. I know we'll be watching on the Southern Conference Digital Network, and let's get some more wins. I'm sure everybody can expect a 3-game series sweep throughout the year, right? That's the goal. Just do that.
Hey, that's
every
the goal, Luke. We'll do our best, man. We'll strap it on and see what happens.
Coach, appreciate the time. Once again, that was head coach Link Jarrett. That does it for this week's edition of the Let's Go G Sports Show. We'll be back again next week. It'll be Megan Sloggett. She'll be catching up all the date with the UNCG softball program. For Andrew Wantz, who joined us early in the show, for the head coach Link Jarrett, I am Luke Martin saying so long for the ball diamond, and as always, let's go G.